Hello, it is the world according to Ali, episode 25. It is the 10th of July 2016, Sunday. Captain's log and all that. So yeah, questions. So question 1 from Mark Johnson. Are pre-race warm-up routines, in brackets, flap your arms, jog on the spot, 2-minute affairs, really worth the effort? Really good question. Now then, warming up is what shouldn't be a controversial subject, unless you have my opinions on it. Because I think a lot of people warm up completely wrong, and they warm up systematically wrong all the time, right? So Mark is talking about pre-race, like probably obstacle racing, right? Because that's what he's obsessed with and doesn't talk about anything else. Obstacle racing, what they do is they get you all in a pen. You feel very much like cattle, and then they prod you with verbal sticks to make you dance. Probably more for the entertainment of the crowd than any actual benefit, and to make some gym instructor from some commercial gym feel like they've got power by doing jumping jacks and burpees and push-ups and what have you. And to be honest with you, a lot of the stuff that is done in a warm-up routine is pointless. And some of the stuff is not just pointless but detrimental. So anything that might, for example, trigger a lactate response, yeah. So anything that starts dipping into, like, you know, a sort of sugar burning mode in a warm up before you have to do a long endurance event is fucking stupid. And yet those things are present. Well, they're present, but I'll tell you what, when I'm doing the warm-up and that shit surfaces, I don't fucking do it, I'll tell you that much. I must look like the fucking laziest cunt in the fucking whole group when I'm, you know, like 20 push-ups, fuck off. Bunch of burpees, fuck off. You know what I mean? I'll save my effort for the actual race. Now, this doesn't mean that warming up is bad. It just means that the way they're usually done is normally stupid, you know? And especially as well with obstacle racing, where a lot of the people that do obstacle racing aren't that fit, because what they want to do is they want to roll around the fucking mud and pretend they're some sort of commando, and then the warm-up kills them. Anyway, for me personally, you know, like, a warm-up will need some relevance to temperature. So in summer, for example, you barely need to warm up at all. Mobilise the relevant joints. What does that mean? Speaking like a twat. So, you know, basically making sure that the joints are ready for movement, you know, and that there is blood flow rather than, you know, lactate build up, you know, and things like that. Alright? Basically, when you're doing a long event, you want to save as much energy as possible. And I feel that way about strongman as well. You know, warming up extensively and hard for a strongman event is like a bit of a risky affair, I think. You know, you want to save your energy. Yes, you should be warm, you know, and a lot of that can be done with just having appropriate layers on, you know, protecting yourself from the wind and the elements and stuff like that if you have to wait around. So yeah, but let me answer the question how it's worded. Are pre-race warm-up routines really worth the effort? No, they're not worth the effort. Warm-up should not be effort. Your effort should be saved for the task ahead of you. Your warm-up shouldn't be any effort whatsoever, you know. Warm-up should literally just be getting the joints that are going to be used relevant, you know, ready, and you should already be warm if you're smart with layers and so on and so forth. So yeah, to answer that question, no, it's not really worth the effort. And I always go lazy on my warm-ups. And yeah, and I would, you know, but before anyone goes too crazy with what I've just said, your own training should be such that you are prepared, rather than, you know, like, cause there'll probably be people that jump on these, what I say, and go, no warming up, that'll get you hurt. No, your training should make you prepared so you don't get hurt. Okay? But that's a whole nother ball game. That'll do. I'm tying myself in knots. Right then, question 2 from Helen De Bono. It's an interesting one, this one. How do you square the circle of eating enough to sustain mid-long distance running against trying to lose weight to make a better runner? And then she put in brackets, although could resort to flapping arms. Right then. So how do you eat enough to sustain middle long distance running against trying to lose weight to make a better runner? This is a really tough question to answer because it's got so many fucking elements to it. Because at the end of the day, the amount of sugar that you have stored in your body, in terms of, you know, just glycogen stored in the muscles and stuff like that, is fucking loads. You know, I mean, loads of energy, right? So the whole thing of like eating enough to sustain mid-long distance running against trying to lose weight, this is a really hard question to answer, because at the end of the day, really, what you're looking at is, if you're doing this for running, then you've got some measurables, okay? And if you're also trying to lose weight to be a better runner, yeah, I'm wrestling with this because of the components. Right, okay, so how do we get better at running? We measure it. First of all, we measure. So we have distances and times. Okay, and that therefore gives us our objective results. And so we obviously, to measurably get better at running, those times over those distances go down. Okay, now then, in terms of like losing weight to make a better runner, is that the sole case? I mean, shall I just do this question as face value, otherwise it'll get really complicated and my brain will start hurting. Because one of the other things to performance as well is that if you make yourself stronger, that will improve your running, because you will increase your relative strength, which is your own ability to deal with your body weight and force produced per kilo that you weigh. And that's sort of the same sort of thing. So you can actually attack that in multiple ways. So you can, you know, look to make yourself stronger, right, without gaining weight, okay? And in terms of like eating enough to sustain mid-long distance running and so on and so forth, it's like the body tends to store shitloads of calories anyway. Shitloads, right? So you can waive your calories potentially, although we're starting to get a little bit complicated depending on how many days a week you're running, what kind of event, what kind of distance, what is mid-long distance to you, how much weight do you want to lose, you know, what sort of time scale are you looking for? I mean, oh, this is a minefield. But I'll go back to measurable. So you're doing this for performance reasons, okay? So you got the performance measurable factor of distance and time, but you've also got the measurable thing of your body weight. So what you can do is you can check the scales, keep a record of the scales of what you weigh, and reduce that so slowly, while also keeping a track of your racing, right? And if your performance is continuing to be good, or your performance increases, or your times drop, and the weight on the scales drop, then you've sussed it, right? But introducing the extra element of extra strength training, or really on your strength training, consciously trying to get stronger, would also help. But in terms of like, eating enough, you could be looking at, like, if you're preparing for a particularly long race, you make sure that the 2 days before the particularly long race or the particularly long training session, you make sure that you have adequate, carbohydrates in your diet. But then the days prior to that, you don't, and so on and so forth. But again, this depends on how many times a week you're running. I don't know. It's a bit vague, this one. But in all seriousness, measurables first. Okay, so think about the things that you want to measure, record them, okay, and then take very simple steps to change them. Yeah, and then if something changes in the wrong direction, that's when you need to address it. Monitor and adjust. I'm not happy with that answer. I don't know. I'm not happy with that answer. Too vague. But yeah, bit tough though. I need more information. That's my excuse. Oh. Right then, question 3 from Justin Green. Is older age a hindrance to getting stronger? Do you know what? In a word, yes. Shall I just leave it there and be a big dick tease? Anyway, older age is a hindrance to getting stronger. One is that hormonal reactions in the body are slower when you're older. But you know what? For me, that's not the biggest thing. For me, the biggest thing comes of sort of 1 to 2 sort of different things, right? And that is the fact that the rest of your life, whatever you've spent doing, okay, will be a big hindrance. So one of the things about getting stronger is the amount of wear and tear that you've collected as you've gotten older. So if you've been an idiot, if you've trained like a fucking prick, then you can expect that as you get older, it is going to be tough, right? Because you fucked up your body, you fucked up your joints, and basically your body's a walking wreck. And that to me is one of the biggest things about getting older. Is not actually the degradation that happens due to age, but what you've done to it and how you've slapped and abused your body, and then it also comes down to the other stuff that you do in your life, so if you've been smoking, drinking, eating junk food and all that jazz, yeah, then your body is a fucking mess, basically. And the longer you do all that mess for, the more long-term effect, obviously. And even if you undo it, the more detraining it's going to take from that shit. It's just like when you do the good stuff. If you do cardio every single day, and if you do strength training every single fucking day for a decade, for 20 years, and then you take 6 months off, yeah? You come back from that 6-month layoff after having taken all that, after doing all that training for all them years, seriously, within weeks, you'll be back probably stronger than ever. Alright? As long as you haven't spent those 20 years fucking doing CrossFit or something and smashing your body to bits. But, that's one of them things, right? So the longer you spend something doing regularly, the longer you're going to take to undo whatever it is done, whether it's good or bad, okay? And that's worth bearing in mind. So, if that's maybe a lesson not for you, but for a lesson you want to pass on to someone else, because you're fucked, because you're old and you fucked it all up and you've bashed yourself to shit, and you think, you know what, fuck me, I can't make that much of a change, but I can tell these young fucking rebel motherfuckers what's what, and I'll tell them, and then they won't listen to me because they think I'm just fucking old and stupid and I'm broken, so why the fuck would they listen to me? Oh, you can kind of see why the human race is fucked, actually, can't you? So yeah, is older age a hindrance to getting stronger? Yes. That'll do. Bye!